When you're trying to eat healthy and dare to search for how to do so on the internet or on social media, it can feel like something you have to dedicate your whole life to. There's so much noise, so many rules, so many hacks, so many contradictions. But when you zoom out, healthy eating is actually basically built on 3 core pillars. And once you understand these 3 core pillars, everything becomes so much simpler. So in today's video, I'm breaking them down for you so that you know exactly what actually moves your health needle without having to dedicate your life to it. Hello and welcome. If you're new here, I'm Hannah. I'm a health coach and certified nutritionist, and I'm here to help you live healthier in a way that is simple, science-based, and actually doable. Let's get into the video. So the original reason why we eat is to fuel our body and to give it everything that it needs to function properly. And for that to happen, we need macronutrients and micronutrients. Macro means we need a lot of those nutrients, and micro means that we need a lot less of these nutrients. Macronutrients are proteins, fats, and carbs. And protein is essential for many things in your body, but especially for muscles, recovery, immune function, and for feeling full from the foods that you eat. Fats are essential for hormones, brain health, and nutrient absorption, and the fats that you eat do not directly have something to do with the fat in your body. It's the same word, yes, but it's not the same thing. And carbs are your muscles and your brain's preferred energy source. And while protein and fats are essential for survival, which is also one reason why in many diets you still need to eat these two, but you can cut out carbs. Carbs is not a bad thing. Especially women need healthy carbs as well, especially for your brain and your muscles, but also for your hormone health. And there are 2 basic types of carbs: simple carbs and complex carbs. Complex carbs tend to be viewed as more healthy overall, and these are things like brown rice, whole wheat things, vegetables, the carbs in legumes. And simple carbs are usually white, like white rice, white pasta, white bread. And those simple carbs are not inherently bad. Even if you want to eat healthy, you can totally still have simple carbs. And complex carbs are usually considered healthier, mainly because they keep you fuller or full for longer, and also your blood sugar more stable than simple carbs. Mainly because complex carbs contain more fiber and more micronutrients overall. So if you want to eat healthy, yes, it's advisable to focus on complex carbs, but you do not need to cut out all simple carbs. If you want a rule of thumb, it's always good to aim for the 80-20 rule, meaning try to have 80% complex carbs and 20% all the white stuff that you want to have. But we'll talk more about the simple carbs and how to control their bad effects in pillar 3. And if you want to eat healthy, a balanced meal consists of all 3 macronutrients. And a rule of thumb here for the average person is to have half a plate of vegetables, quarter a plate of carbs, preferably complex carbs, quarter a plate of protein, and then about a thumb size of fats. And this automatically gives you a balanced mix of the macros without having to track anything. Micronutrients are mainly things like vitamins and minerals like magnesium, zinc, B vitamins, and they support many, basically all of the functions that your body is doing every day. Your body and also your mind, by the way. So yes, getting enough vitamins and minerals is very important. How do you make sure you get them? Well, the easiest way to cover them is to eat a high variety of foods, especially of different colors when it comes to vegetables and fruit, which is why they keep saying eat the rainbow, because the colors of the fruits and vegetables often tell you what kind of macronutrient is in there. But to get all the macronutrients that you need, it's not only important to eat a high variety of fruits and vegetables, but also of things like grains, animal products, basically any type of food that exists for us humans. Meaning that if you leave out certain foods or even certain food groups, for example, because you don't want to eat animals, or because you're allergic or intolerant to certain things, or you just don't like certain things, supplementing might be a good idea. But before you start doing that, it's always advisable to get your blood checked. So go to your doctor, get your blood work done, or you can also do that online nowadays, and see if you're deficient in any macronutrient. And when you are, either try to eat more of that food that contains a lot of that macronutrient, or buy a high quality clean supplement. So next to macronutrients and micronutrients, something that you most likely have heard of is calories. But since we want to keep everything simple and don't want to track anything, I won't talk much about calories, but more about how you can know how much to eat, aka how many calories you should eat, without actually tracking the calories. Because even if you don't want to gain or lose weight, chronic undereating or overeating is not a part of a healthy diet, usually at least. And calorie tracking is first not something of a very easy-going, healthy eating lifestyle. And second, it's also something I don't really recommend, mainly but not also because I don't think it's very sustainable. And our bodies are not made to be counting anything, but it's made to know when you should eat and how much you should eat. But many of us have lost that intuition, but you can regain it. And it is very simple, much simpler than it might sound. To make this simple, think of your fullness as your body battery. Try to eat when your battery is at about 20 to 30%, so that it's not totally empty, but also not full already. And then stop eating when you're about 90% charged, because your fullness signals need about 20 minutes to arrive to your brain after you stop eating. So you will actually eat until you're 100% full, but it will feel in the moment like you're 90% charged. This applies if you want to maintain your weight. If you want to lose weight, stop eating at 80% full. If you want to gain weight, eat until you're about 110% full. And this thing, getting a feeling for your body battery, gets easier when you take care of pillar number 2, which is to stay steady. Now, there's a lot of discussion online about fasting and intermittent fasting, and while that can be beneficial for some people, not eating during the night for 12 hours already does at least 80% of the work that intermittent fasting does for you. So try to have a window of about 12 to 14 hours in the night, using the time you sleep anyways, and then have a couple of hours before that optimally to not eat and to give your gut a little break. And then for most people, especially women, it makes sense to aim for the classic 3 meals a day. Why? Because eating regularly helps your blood sugar stay stable, and your blood sugar is very important for several things. First, for a stable energy. Second, for stable mood and focus. And third, for more stable cravings and appetite. You've probably been there before when you haven't eaten all day, or you've barely eaten all day, or you skipped breakfast and or lunch, and then at night when you start to eat, you just cannot stop eating. And that's not only you, that is very normal. And you can counteract that overeating late at night. That happens to so many women, people in general, but especially women, because we're more sensitive to things like skipping meals, is to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you're hungry in between, to have a healthy little snack. Snacking is not unhealthy if it's a healthy snack. What constitutes a healthy snack? Well, have it be mostly protein and fats and not so many carbs. Again, to keep your blood sugar stable. And under this blood sugar pillar also falls the worst effect of eating sweets. Because when you eat something sweet that consists of a lot of sugar, that sugar makes your blood sugar go a bit wild. It's not the only bad effect of sugar, but that's one of the main bad effects of sugar. And you can counteract that. You can eat candy or, chocolate, whatever. I'm not saying you should when we talk about healthy eating, obviously, but a part of healthy eating is also to not be 100% strict. So if you want to have a cake or chocolate, have it, but try to have it after a full meal as a dessert, which is why we have something called dessert, which is something you're supposed to have after a meal. Because having a full meal before something sweet helps balance the blood sugar, kind of slows down the effect of that sugar from the sweet stuff. And when you do these things, when you have regular meals, and when you try to coat your sweet tooth, you're doing about 80% at least, if not 90% of your stabilizing your blood sugar work. For even more and more specific tips on how to balance your blood sugar, I will have a newsletter about this coming out soon, so if you don't want to miss that, subscribe via the link below. And when you give your body all the macro and micronutrients it needs, when you take care of stabilizing your blood sugar, there's 1/3 piece of the puzzle that kind of ties everything together and literally supports basically everything, every system in your body, and that is your gut health. More and more research shows that gut health is crucial for basically everything in your body, both your physical and your mental health. Your gut health affects digestion, immunity, your energy, even how hungry you feel. And one main function of your gut is to absorb nutrients from the foods that you eat, which again help your body to function properly. So what can you do to support your gut health in a very simple and easy way? First, focus on eating high fiber foods. You've probably heard of fiber before, and there's a reason why it seems to be the key to our health, or one of the food keys to our health. Fiber keeps your digestion smooth and your gut bacteria happy. The good bacteria in your gut, which you need to have a healthy gut. And there are numerous studies that show that a fiber-rich diet is linked to a lower risk of multiple chronic diseases, including cardiovascular diseases and certain cancers. A good aim is to hit about 25 to 30 grams of fiber every day. But I'm guessing you either want to keep things simple and or you don't really know how much fiber is in which foods, and you don't need to know. The easiest guideline is to include fiber in every of your meals. Which foods are high in fiber? Well, basically any type of plant, natural plant. So yes, fruits and vegetables, but also often even more so in whole grains, not the white ones, legumes like for example lentils, nuts, seeds, but also things like dark chocolate, for example. So this is the reason why first half of your plate should consist of veggies, and also why people tend to say that complex carbs are healthier because they're more fiber rich. Next to eating a lot of fiber, the second most powerful thing you can do for having a healthy gut is to eat a high variety of foods in general, but especially of plants, because that again helps the gut bacteria, your gut microbiome, be happy. A good rule of thumb here is to eat at least 30 different plants per week, which might sound like a lot, but it's not, because even things like herbs and spices, dark chocolate again, coffee beans, every kind of plant you can think of counts into this plant diversity. And what's the deal with processed, ultra-processed, whole foods? Is this really important? Yes, it's important for basically all three of the pillars. Because ultra-processed foods, think chocolate bars, chips, sodas, sausages, these type of foods first tend to not have a lot of micronutrients in them. Their macronutrient balance usually is off because usually it's mainly carbs and maybe some unhealthy fats. They tend to destabilize your blood sugar, and they tend to be not so good for your gut health, which is why it's always a good idea to focus on whole foods. What are whole foods? Well, natural foods that are not processed multiple times. Think, of course, fruits and vegetables, rice, potatoes, but also dairy, meat, pure meat like chicken breast, a good steak, fish, eggs, yogurt, cheese. But what's important here is to not aim for perfection, because it's not necessary to eat 100% clean. Once again, the best rule to follow here is the 80-20 rule. And this is not just what I'm saying, this is also what experts are saying. Usually, 80% of your outcome comes from 20% of the input. Meaning in this case, try to aim for a healthy whole food diet for about 80% of the time. For the remaining 20%, have whatever you want. Of course, it's not going to support your physical health if you have candy bars. But if you crave a specific candy bar because that reminds you of your childhood, have that candy bar. Just try to not only have that candy bar. Nowadays, food is not only there to fuel you, it's also there to be enjoyed. If you want to dive deeper into what science says that healthy eating is actually about and how you can actually build these three pillars of healthy eating into your daily life, I'm currently working on a health reset guide, which is basically everything I work on with my clients, but in a simple step-by-step format that you can do on your own. It's not all yet, but I opened up a waitlist for anyone who wants early access. Link in the description. Now, if you've been wondering whether the hype about creatine is actually backed by science, if seed oils are actually poisoning you, or if Diet Coke is actually healthier for you than regular Coke, you should watch this video right here where I answer the most common questions of our community here based on nutrition research. Other than that, thank you so much for watching and take care.